Oh, here on the Friday night sports show, Ouyen United Kangas report, and we've got Andrew Wilsmore with us. He's live from Darwin, just doing it all, sunning himself and so on. G'day, Andrew. How you going?
Going really well, thank you, mate. Going really well. What a week in football, buddy.
Yes.
Bloody chocolates to boiled lollies.
Oh, you're going through a wonderful opportunity for you, though. I mean, one of your best mates getting married up in the top of the country, and oh, gee, I tell you what, it's a chance to be away from all of that farm work. I reckon that's what it's more about.
It is. We'll turn the phones off after this and sit back and relax for a few days, and yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Off, be all good.
Be all good, that's for sure. Well, wasn't all good, but some encouraging signs is how I would probably come out of the Underbull game on the weekend. It was Orimple taking the points 11-11-77 to the Ouyen United Kangas 8-5-53. It was, in the end, at three-quarter time, they were in complete control, but you kept them scoreless. They might have put the cue in the rack slightly, but the Kangas still scored, and it was good to see, and probably got closer to them than other sides have this year. So Underbull probably is still a little fortress, and maybe with a couple of tidy-ups in the second and third quarter, you might be able to be, again, more competitive against the top side.
Yeah. We certainly got off to a great start. We led at quarter time, and very confident in what we were doing, and we thought that things were working well. Probably, if you give Orimple any sort of sniff, they're going to come back and bite you. So I think their third quarter they really put the foot down, and yeah, our last quarter was excellent. We certainly outscored them, but whether they took the foot off the pedal or not, look, we weren't. I don't know, mate. When you look it up in the paper, there's not a column that says honourable losses, and that was one of them. And we had a few last year, which really defined our season. And we've got to get away from that, mate. When we're in control of the game, we need to put the foot down and keep going away from them. But they're a very, very, very quality outfit. Absolutely, they're. From their seniors to their seconds to their under-18s to their under-14s, they're well coached, they're well drilled, they're a very professional outfit, mate. They're going to take some rolling.
They are. The Swallows have got, for whatever reason, a heritage in being able to bring kids through to the top level. Justin Robinson, Thomas Brownbridge and Zach Wandon, all in their better players in front of Daniel Coughlin, who is their star. I did talk about the clash of the day when Dallas Wilsmore might line up on him. Clearly, Dallas, that was being used to plug some holes. He booted 3 for you guys to lead the goal kicking. So, the quality that they've got, you probably need a couple of Dallas and maybe a goal kicking forward too, so that it takes that real pressure off of him. A little bit like maybe Will Farrer back in the premiership years, just to be able to kick that bag of goals, that focal point, so that your midfield don't have to kick so many.
Yeah, certainly. When Will was around, and if you can find a 60 or a 70, a year goal kicker, they're just invaluable. So, and that's probably one of our downfalls at the minute. We've got young Sam O'Shaughnessy up there, and he's still only a kid, remember, and he's doing a great job, but he's certainly get a little bit more attention now that, he gets a bit more scrutiny because he is such a good player, and with young kids, really, it's hard to find consistency early on in your career, and when he's getting paid so much attention, he's always going to find it tough, but he certainly battles on. But yeah, with our Brad Valance out, our full forward with that calf, we really just need more avenues to goal, I think.
Certainly do. Let's have a look at that other comment that you did make, and that is that Orimple are deep in all grades, and in the reserve grade, in the round 4 match against you blokes at Underbull, 15-14 to 2-4. Now, I know that you've got a couple of senior footballers out, and Brad Valance, obviously one of them. Dean Staunton is out of that side, so they're 2 big outs of your senior side. But generally speaking, you won't have too many more to come back into your twos. So Orimple have nailed you by a big score, really, with one of your better sides in.
Yeah, we had a few out. There's a couple, James Phillips, who's been holding down sort of full back. He had a slight quad strain. So he was out. Obviously, the seniors took a couple up. So we might have 2 or 3 to come back in, but realistically, we would need 6 to 7 to come back into that team and play a lot better. Just the depth. Once we get a few injuries, our depth will certainly get tested, and Orimple have depth in spades. It appears half of that seconds team could have run around in their senior grade, and that's what will make their senior grade so hard to beat. They've just got excellent depth, even their kids. And, my timekeeper down to 14's got out of the goals, which is good. And goal umpiring, and I just watched, and their kids right down to the last one, they might be, only similar size to us, but they're very well drilled. They're a well-coached unit. And, look, they're ominous signs there. Unless something I can't see happening, they're going to be a powerhouse for a long time to come. They just bat very, very deep.
They do, and train very well. Liam Graham kicked 8 goals for them in the reserve grade out of their 15, so very good play. Nathan Lawson and Daniel Page-Cotts both scored for you. Jackson Plant, Will Grigg starting the season real well, and Sam Scott, Patrick Sherry, Todd Barker and Andy Rowan in your better players. Over to the 18s, and we know that these lads, these under-18s for you blokes, had a win the week before, and they were really, really good, and we were pretty excited about it as they headed into what was going to be a big test, but it was a test way, way beyond recognition. 25-8 Irimple to Ouyen, 2 straight kicks. Well played to the Kangas to get a couple of goals. Dustin O'Shannessy and Jack O'Shannessy, the other 2 Shannessy boys, both got one on the scoreboard.
Yeah, look, as I stated, mate, they just have incredible depth. You can't find too many weaknesses in any of their teams, and our top 5 or 6 or 7 are similar to theirs, but their bottom 5 or 6 or 7 are also very, very, very good. They just don't. There is no weaknesses really that you can expose and try and get back on a level playing field. But look, hats off to them. They're fit. They're incredibly well drilled. They move the footy with some precision, and they're all on the same page. So just makes it very hard to stop. And I'm not too sure whether too many teams are going to get the better of them.
Yeah, very good. Ethan Munro, good kid coming through. Blake Smith, Ned Scott, Dustin O'Shannessy and Jonty Pengelly. Good to see those kids do well in this game. As we take a look now to the under-14 age group, and some good performances from your kids. Unfortunately, we've got the same story here with Irimple being just such a good side. It was declared mercy at 10-8 to 68 to 1-8 in the second quarter. They didn't take long to get there, but an astonishing group of players that you mentioned earlier. Pulio with 4 and Cavallaro with 3 for them. Did you see any signs there for you guys at the 14-year-old level that you could take out of the game?
Look, they're certainly the same old contributors that are there, and there's plenty of good positive signs, but it's purely a David and Goliath issue when you go out there and you're up against such a powerful unit. I think I mentioned it last week. We put 18 behind the footy, and that might slow them down. We couldn't do that, but there's no coach, or you can't really do anything to stop the flow. They're just they're a very level sort of, the consistency and their level of ability is all very similar. So it seems the kids gel really well. And look, hats off to them. They play some ripping footy. There's no doubt about that.
They certainly have, and this season's going to see more of it. Liam Bond, Harry Scott, Adam Grace, Finn Brown, Corbin Copeman and John Shine were the shining lights for you guys in that game. And just a quick one for the 12-year-olds in their game, though. Scores are kept, which is probably a good thing given how tough it was on the day. No one wants to know the scores anymore. Darcy Plant, Hunter Brown, young Neil Shine, Adam Goddard, William Pole and Nate Singleton were the kids that got their name on the sheet, which we read out on the radio. Okay, let's go to this week's matches. This is a huge one. Tomorrow your boys go up to the magnificent Oval at the Imperials Brian Waitman Oval. I think you're a real show here. What I want to know is how your players get over last week. Wasn't too far away. Possibly Staunton comes back. Any word that we might see even another couple of people coming back into the side? Yeah,
I think there'll be a few changes. There'll be 2 or 3 that might be moved around. Some might even get a little spell back in our 2s just to remind them how hard you got to work. So, yeah, there'll be a couple of changes. Hopefully Storto's back. Look, they'll certainly take some confidence out of last week and the 2 quarters where we really did control the footy and play well. Just four quarters of consistency is what we're after. And look, a good week on the training track. Just refocus. Get away from this honourable loss tag, which we do not want to have, and just get the wins on the board, which early on in the season is just imperative. So once again, mate, we'll go in with a quietly confident, but knowing that it's going to take our best.
Imperials have been in good form. We know that. They had a win a couple of weeks ago over the Robinvale Euston. They also struggled for a win, 8-17 to 3-7 early in the season over the South Mildura side. So they haven't had it all simply their own way. They have, when they've had their chances, lost that first game of the year too, if we remember, to Redcliffs, which surprised a lot of us. So they're not without a chance of you blokes knocking them over in the senior level. In the reserve grade, this becomes an interesting one for your lads because Imperials are in third place. Your blokes might have a couple of changes. I think can challenge them here.
Yeah. Once again, depending on personnel who we get taken, and hopefully there's a couple that'll come back from injury. So I expect this one to be hopefully a reasonably even contest. That traditionally they have been good in the second. So we certainly won't be going in there too cocky. There's no doubt about that. But it'll just be purely a personnel thing as to who we've got on the day, and hopefully we get our full forward back. He's got a calf niggle as well. If he comes back in, that'll certainly be a huge boost to the seconds team.
Yep, absolutely. The 18s could be interesting because I don't think Imperials have an 18 side. Would that be correct?
I'm not sure, mate.
I think that's the case. So I'm just going to go out there on a limb and say that the Imperials at the under-18 level didn't play last week, and it did say Mildura and South had byes, which would then indicate that it was the Imperials who didn't play against Mildura. So maybe that won't be a game there in the 18s and that you don't have 16s, albeit we'll wait and see whether the clubs that organise something amongst the players there. The 14-year-old age group would be playing, and so that'll be interesting to see how the kids go in the morning. And, of course, the younger kids in the 12s, that should be okay. So we'll keep you posted there. But it is a big weekend for the Ouyen United Kangas. Got to win the seniors. I think season-defining moment, win at Brian Waitman Oval, and you're right in the hunt. A loss puts you a long way behind.
Yeah, certainly. If there is no under-18s, that'll help our reserves for sure. We'll be able to steal some of their quality kids.
Good stuff, and good to have you on board, and no honourable losses, mate. We'll look forward to a win this weekend.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much for that, and stay tuned. Hopefully I'll talk to you next week with a big barra and some good news.
Barramundi on the way home for us all from Darwin, from Andrew Wilsmore, talking Ouyen United Kangas footy in the Sunray Show.